from 2014. It is said to have happened on this day, but it may not have happened at all. But it is certainly the case that Daniel Defoe was certainly not harmed by his stay in the stocks in 1703. It was said after that he had been pelted with flowers, not the more traditional rotten fruit, after he had announced a poem to the stocks. He had been placed in the stocks because King William had died and Queen Anne had different policies, and Defoe wrote satire. A particular pamphlet in this case had been written by Defoe anonymously, but he had been identified. He had suggested that nonconformists be killed. John Robert Moorelater said that no man in England but Defoe ever stood in the pillory and later rose to eminence among his fellow men. Also on this day, the Spanish Armada was sighted off the English coast, but it was never a real threat of invasion, as the large number of troops that had been assembled would never have been able to board the ships, as they were never able to get past the smaller Dutch ships, which would have prevented it in shallower waters. Even so, it was a remarkable success and allowed Queen Elizabeth to later give her stirring speech at Tillbury. My loving people, we have been persuaded by some that are careful of our safety to take heed how we commit ourselves to armed multitudes for fear of treachery. But I do assure you, I do not desire to live to distrust my faithful and loving people. Let tyrants fear. I have always so behaved myself, that under God I have placed my chiefest strength and safeguard in the loyal hearts and goodwill of my subjects. And therefore I come amongst you, as you see at this time, not for my recreation and disport, but being resolved in the midst and heat of battle, to live or die among you all, to lay down for my God and for my kingdom and for my people my honor and my blood, even in the dust. I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have a heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England too, and think foul scorn that Parma or Spain or any prince of Europe would dare to invade the borders of my realm, to which rather than any dishonor should grow by me, I myself will take up arms. I myself will be your general, judge, and rewarder of every one of your virtues in the field. I know already, for your forwardness, you have deserved rewards and crowns, and we do assure you, on the word of a prince, they shall be duly paid you. In the meantime, my lieutenant general shall be in my stead, than whom never prince commanded a more noble or worthy subject. Not doubting, but by your obedience to my general, by your concord in the camp, and your valor in the field, we shall shortly have a famous victory over those enemies of my God, of my kingdom, and of my people. Mark Antony had had success at the Battle of Alexandria, 30 BC, against Octavian, but instead of a stirring speech to his men, he committed suicide. One can learn a lot by studying Elizabeth Rex. Antony's example is less glorious. Today is another of infamy for anti-Semitism. In 1492, the Alhambra Decree took effect, kicking all Jews out of Spain 5 years after the Spanish king had instigated the Spanish Inquisition. In 1932, the Nazi Party won 38% of the vote. One can only guess what that 38% wanted of them. Their activity was evident from the beginning, brutal and ugly. In 1941, Hitler instructed Hermann Goering to give orders to SS General Reinhard Heydrich to submit to me as soon as possible a general plan of the administrative material and financial measures necessary for carrying out the desired final solution of the Jewish question. In 1201, John Comnenus the Fat failed to usurp the Byzantine Empire in 1498 on his third voyage. Christopher Columbus discovered Trinidad. In 1458, Aurangzeb took control of India, ending secular administration and putting in place Islamic rule. His administration was to mark the downfall of Islamic leaders in India. In 1715, 12 Spanish treasure galleons set sail from Havana. 11 sank in a storm, allowing their treasure to be claimed centuries later. In 1763, Chief Pontiac defeated British in the Battle of Bloody Run. In 1777, the U.S. Second Continental Continental Congress gave Lafayette an honorary rank of Major General of U.S. forces. In 1790, U.S. granted a patent for potash. In 1856, Christchurch became a city. In 1913, the Balkan states signed an armistice. In 1919, Germany adopted the Weimar Constitution. In 1930, radio program The Shadow first aired. In 1931, the future TV WCBS first broadcast. In 1938, archaeologists discovered gold and silver plates from Darius the Great at Persepolis. In 1945, Pierre Laval, former socialist turned fascist leader of Vichy France, surrendered to allies in Austria. That's it for today. If you come by this video at a later time and you like it, like it! Also feel free to comment and share. Spread the love. Be well.